Hi, I'm Howie, and this is a video about the Melissa and Doug Entrepreneurs Associates Program. The Associates Program is meant to be an easy way for Duke undergraduates that are thinking of starting a company to get involved in a way that is meaningful, that helps them, increases the chance that they're going to make progress with their startup, and is meant for us to be able to get to know one another early on in Duke undergraduates' careers. So the way the Associates program works, I'm going to tell you a story of what that should look like. So starting as early as possible in a person's Duke career, even before they matriculate to Duke, or first or second year as undergrads, a student reaches out to us, tell them they're interested in starting a company. We do kind of some basic checks to see, what is it that they're working on? Is that something we can help with? Other things like that. And for the most part, we're going to say yes to almost every student. Now, what does that mean for the student? So starting from that point, there's going to be an expectation of weekly progress on their startup. And that is going to be reported online on our platform to keep us in the loop every week, usually on Sunday nights, as to what is going on with your startup. The second thing is that we are very focused on providing you connections for your startup, hopefully potential mentors even. And so a couple things are going to happen. One is that we're going to assign you to one of our Melissa and Doug Entrepreneurs partners, who is a person who most likely has been through the program before and has started a company and is usually still working on that company or has worked on that company for multiple years. And each partner is going to be a mentor for a group of several students. And they'll hold weekly office hours with you so that you can have time to chat with them. That might be in person. More likely it's going to be using a video platform like Zoom or Skype. And then, so you're going to be posting online updates. You're going to be meeting with your advisor weekly. The third thing is that we're going to help you set a metric that you want to track to, and have a goal for growing that metric over time. So examples of this might be how many weeks until you launch. And so maybe that starts with 10 weeks, and then we want to track that progress each week. And then it might be, how many active users do you have on your site? It might be, how much revenue have you been able to get? How many customers have you been able to get? So we're going to help you select a metric and then to track your progress over time using that metric during our weekly check-ins. And then the fourth item is that there's going to be content that we create for you. We already have content online, and that will be organized and presented to you in such a way that you can consume the content on your own time, usually each week. So, videos, things to read, just to kind of up your game in terms of what does it mean to be a founder? What does it mean to be in a startup? What does it mean to create a product that customers are clamoring to purchase? What does it mean to get product market fit? So all sorts of things that are important concepts when thinking about startups. We are going to give you content and roadmaps to start to figure out how you're going to progress and where you are in the progression. So if all goes well, then at the end of your time with the Associates program, we're gonna have gotten to know you pretty well, and we would like to make some decisions and have you make decisions as to whether or not you'd like to possibly participate in the full program, which I'm going to call the core program. The core program has been around for several years. The core program for Melissa and Doug Entrepreneurs which is separate from the associates program. The core program, the way it works is usually we take about 12 to 15 Duke undergraduates into the core program starting in around January and February. And the program lasts until November, so it's about one calendar year. And the program includes specific meetings for all the entrepreneurs in the core program, usually weekly. Also, it includes special visits, including a trip up to Melissa and Doug's house up in Westport, Connecticut, and their offices nearby. And that includes meeting with Melissa and Doug, getting to know them, getting their advice on your business, and also talking with members of their office staff. The core program also involves more mentor matching and mentor assignments. So, one thing that we do is something we call Mentor Madness, which is we'll send you a list of 10 alumni or supporters that have some sort of specialty that might be useful to your startup or in your field. And we send them to you, and you reach out to them for conversations and possibly for establishing an ongoing mentor relationship. In the summer, you'll receive a stipend that'll be paid out over 3 months based on your progress and continued effort in the program. And you're going to work from Durham alongside all the other entrepreneurs in the program. And it's going to start with an intensive period at the beginning where you're all being trained together. And so the goal here is to create a great community of Duke entrepreneurs that are working side by side, that are getting to know each other, that are going through the ups and downs together, that are pushing each other to continue to work on their startup and to make progress and to get through hurdles or get over hurdles that are in their way that all entrepreneurs have. So that is the summer. And at the end of the summer is a checkpoint where we will have you pitch formally, and that will be in front of a set of supporters and possible investors, and they're going to give you feedback. So that's the summer portion. In the fall, for the most of you who have not yet graduated, you're going to be going back to classes. And for some of you who have graduated, you're going to be working full-time on your company, and you might end up moving to another city. And what ends up happening is that we select which teams are ready to present based on the end of summer checkpoint. And the ones that are ready to present will offer to present at Demo Day, which happens in the late fall, early winter. So Demo Day is an event back at Melissa and Doug's house in Connecticut, where we invite dozens of alumni to come and listen, and some of them opt to invest financial support in the company on the spot at the event. The first year we had about $60,000 that was invested on the spot. The second year we had $130,000 invested on the spot. The third year we had $170,000 invested on the spot. And the goal is for these investors to be very supportive investors, wanting the best for you and for your startup, and who really believe in kind of the mission of what you're doing and in the plan and the startup that you're building in order to do that. So it's a great event, absolutely fantastic. There's a great friendly atmosphere. It's really a fantastic event. And that is the end of the core program. Afterwards, we support our entrepreneurs that are alumni, and we invite some of our entrepreneurs to become partners, like I mentioned earlier. And so that's kind of a progression of what the Melissa and Doug Entrepreneurs Program might look like, from associate to core program to demo day to kind of becoming an alum of the program, and to possibly becoming a partner in the program. So let me just highlight a few principles of the associates program so that you just get a sense as to what we're trying to do. So I'll just say that the associates program, it's meant to be easy to join. It's meant to provide great support, and it's meant to provide training for you and your startup to succeed. And let me just elaborate on that a little bit. So one thing we found with the core program is that it was very competitive, and what we started to realize is that even though we had great outcomes in letting people into the program, there actually ended up being sort of a negative outcome for those that didn't get into the program. And that's something that we are trying to change by having just a much easier, to access associates program, so that a lot more people can participate in the Melissa and Doug program and get that support. It just felt like the core program was a little bit too hard to get into, and a little bit too hard for people to access the Melissa and Doug community. So that is one reason for the associates program. Another reason for the associates program is that we want to be working with students much earlier in the process. So one thing that we've come to realize is that early course corrections in a student's progress as a founder can make a big difference later on. And sometimes when a student has worked on their startup for weeks or months or maybe even years, they kind of lock in their assumptions and their beliefs about their companies, and at that point it's almost too late to course correct. And so that happens a lot, and we want to be working with founders even earlier on, so that we can make course corrections a lot earlier and help students find startup ideas and startup teams and situations where they are more likely to succeed. Another reason for the associates program is that we want to focus on your time in starting this company. So there are many entrepreneurship programs at Duke, and each entrepreneurship program and each entrepreneurship class has a different flavor of where they are from the spectrum of studying other companies to working on your company, or from doing assignments that are towards working on your company versus actually working on your company itself and trying to make your company go. And so this program is meant to intentionally give you an experience where you're able to and encouraged to work on your company, on the activities that will most help your company, that are most important. And that's something that is a little bit different about this program. A couple more things I want to mention. So one is that having a community that you're part of for starting your company can be really important. Entrepreneurship can be pretty isolating and pretty difficult mentally. It's known that entrepreneurship can impact people's mental health negatively in a lot of situations. And so having a community that you're a part of with people that are going through similar things, and being able to intentionally talk about the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur is a really important facet of the associates program, as opposed to what I think usually happens